She was 15 years old and had dried blood under her fingernails. The note she placed in his hand read, "Don't save me. Save him. Please. Before midnight." And then she disappeared into the darkness, leaving Marcus alone with a piece of paper that seemed to weigh more than his motorcycle. But what Marcus didn't know was that the note wasn't a cry for help. It was a confession. And when he turned the paper over, he saw something that made his blood run cold. An address scribbled in red. The same address where his brother had died 3 years before. If you believe some stories need to be told, subscribe to the channel now and leave a comment letting us know where you're watching this story from, because what happened that night changed everything, and you need to know why. Marcus was sitting outside the hospice when she appeared, 3 in the morning. The cold November air cut through his skin. He smoked silently, watching the empty street of Cedar Falls, Oregon. He'd worked there for 6 months, doing night security, cleaning hallways, helping nurses turn patients who could no longer move on their own. It was a job that kept him off the roads, away from the club, away from himself. The girl emerged from the darkness like a ghost, too thin, tangled brown hair falling over her face, dirty sweatshirt 3 sizes too big, torn sneakers. She stopped 2 meters from him, breathing rapidly, her wide eyes fixed on the ground. Marcus didn't move. He just watched. He had learned to read people on the road, and that girl was running from something, or worse, running towards something. "Are you Marcus Hale?" Her voice came out shaky, broken. He frowned. No one called him by his full name, not even the nurses. "Depends on who's asking." She took a step forward. Her hands trembled as she pulled a crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. "My name is Lily Brennan, and I need you to do something for me." Marcus threw the cigarette on the ground and crushed it with his boot. "I don't do favors for strangers, girl, especially not in the middle of the night." She swallowed hard. "It's not a favor, it's a debt." The words came out like a punch. Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. He stood up slowly, his eyes never leaving her face. "What debt?" Lily held out the paper. Her hand trembled so much the note almost fell. Marcus took it. He opened it. He read, "Don't save me. Save him. Please, before midnight." And underneath, scribbled in something that looked like dried blood, 1247 Ashwood Lane, basement. He's still alive. The world stopped. Marcus knew that address. He knew every stone, every broken window, every dead blade of grass in that cursed lawn. It was where his brother, Jamie, had been found. Dead. Overdose, they said. But Marcus never believed it. "How do you know about this place?" His voice came out hoarse, dangerous. Lily took a step back. "Because I lived there. With my stepfather. And he has someone downstairs. A boy, 7 years old. He'll kill him tonight if nobody does anything." Tears began to fall, silent, desperate. "I managed to escape. But he didn't. I tried to get him out of there, but I couldn't do it alone. I saw your picture in the newspaper. From the time you helped that child in the accident. I knew you would understand." Marcus felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. He turned the paper over, and there, written in red, was the address. The same address. "Your stepfather." He could barely speak. "What's his name?" Lily closed her eyes. "Dale Cormack." And Marcus knew. He knew that the night had just begun, and that there would be no turning back. Lily stood there, shivering in the cold, waiting for him to say something. But Marcus couldn't speak. The name Dale Cormack echoed in his head like a gunshot. He knew that name. Not personally, but he knew it. Everyone at the club knew it. He was the guy who was never arrested, the guy the police never managed to prove anything about. The guy whose neighbors disappeared and reappeared months later, mute, broken, never saying a word. Marcus looked at Lily again. He really looked. And he saw. He saw the marks on her neck, half hidden by her sweatshirt. He saw the yellowish bruises on her left wrist. He saw the way she kept her right arm slightly bent as if protecting a bruised rib. He saw the way she kept looking over her shoulder as if expecting someone to emerge from the shadows and drag her back. Why? Didn't you go to the police? He asked, but he already knew the answer. Lily let out a bitter, lifeless laugh. I did. Twice. The first time I was 13. They called my stepfather. He came to get me. He hugged me in front of them. He cried. He said I'd had mental problems ever since my mother died. They believed him. She wiped her face with her dirty sleeve. The second time, I was 14. I showed them the marks. They took pictures. They made a report. They said they were going to investigate. 3 days later, a policeman showed up at our door. He talked to Dale for 20 minutes. He laughed with him. He left. Nothing happened. And that night, she stopped. She swallowed hard. She didn't finish the sentence. Marcus clenched his fists. He knew this story. He knew it very well. And the boy? Who is he? Lily closed her eyes. His name is Ethan, 7 years old, son of a woman Dale met in a bar. She died. Car accident. At least that's what they say. Dale got custody. 6 months ago. I tried to take care of him. I tried to protect him. But... Her voice broke. But I couldn't. And tonight, I heard Dale talking on the phone. He said he was going to solve the problem. That he couldn't keep the boy there anymore. Marcus's heart was pounding so hard he could almost hear it. Where were you when you ran away? Lily looked at the floor. In the house. I waited for him to drink and pass out. I grabbed the basement keys. I tried to open the door. But he woke up. I dropped everything and ran. He saw me. He knows I ran away. And he knows I know where Ethan is. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Marcus took a step toward her. Lily didn't recoil. She just looked up. And he saw. He saw something he recognized, the same thing he saw in the mirror every day. Guilt, pain, the feeling of having failed someone who depended on you. Why did you come to me? Marcus asked, his voice low. Why didn't you go somewhere else? A shelter, a church, anywhere? Lily took a deep breath. Because you lost someone in that house too. I read about your brother. I know you never believed it was an overdose. And I know what Dale does down there. I saw it. And if I don't do something now, Ethan will end up the same way Jamie did. Marcus felt something break inside him. She knew. That 15-year-old girl knew. And she had come to him in the middle of the night, bleeding, running, because she believed he was the only person who could understand, who could act, who could do what the law never did. He picked up his cell phone. He dialed 2 rings. A deep voice answered, Marcus? We need to talk now, in the shed. Bring Crow and Dutch. Pause. It's about Jamie. Silence on the other end. I'm coming. Marcus hung up. He looked at Lily. You're coming with me. And you're going to tell me everything. Marcus's pickup truck sped down the dark road toward the club's warehouse. Lily was in the passenger seat, huddled up, hugging her knees. She hadn't spoken. Since they got in the car. Neither had Marcus. He was driving on autopilot, his mind stuck in another time. 3 years ago. The call in the middle of the night. The policewoman's voice saying they needed him to identify a body. Jamie was 22. Marcus, 28. They weren't close. Not after their father died and their mother disappeared into drugs. Jamie had stayed in the city. Marcus had left, sought the club, sought the road. But they were still brothers. And when Jamie started disappearing for days at a time, when he started showing up with injuries he couldn't explain, Marcus should have done something. He should have gone after him. He should have asked. But he didn't ask. And then Jamie died, found in an abandoned house on Ashwood Lane. Syringe beside him. Overdose. Case closed. Marcus never believed it. Jamie had been afraid of needles since childhood. I didn't use anything injectable, but nobody wanted to listen. Nobody investigated. And Marcus was left with anger, with guilt, with the certainty that someone had done it and had gotten away with it. Did he suffer? Lily's voice cut through the silence. Marcus glanced at her. Who? His brother, Jamie. He suffered? Marcus gripped the steering wheel. I don't know. They never let me see the body properly. They said it was better if I remembered him differently. Lily nodded slowly. Dale talked about him sometimes. When he was drunk, he'd say that kid had learned his lesson, that he shouldn't have seen things he shouldn't have. I never understood. Until I started hearing the noises in the basement. Marcus stopped the car. They were on the shoulder, halfway to the shed. He turned to her. What noises? Lily swallowed hard. Crying. Sometimes muffled screams. Dale locked the basement door. He said that's where he kept tools. But I knew. I always knew. And one night, when he left, I took the spare key. I went down, and I saw things. Mattresses on the floor, chains on the wall, children's clothes, and blood. Lots of blood. Marcus felt bile rising. Did you see any children there? Not that time, but I saw some later. Ethan, he showed up 6 months ago. Dale said he was going to take care of him because his mother had died. But he never left the house, never went to school. He stayed locked up. And I saw the way Dale looked at him, the same way he looked at me when I was younger. She took a deep breath, trembling. I tried to get Ethan out of there. Once I tried to run with him through the back window, but Dale caught us. He locked me in the room for 3 days, no food, no water, and then he showed me the basement again. He showed me what happens to those who try to escape. He showed me a picture of a boy, dark hair, light eyes, a tattoo of an eagle on his arm. She looked at Marcus. That was Jamie, wasn't it? Marcus couldn't answer. He just stared ahead, his eyes burning. Jamie had an eagle tattoo. He'd gotten it when he was 18. Marcus had gone with him. Dale killed my brother. It wasn't a question, it was a certainty. Lily nodded, tears streaming down her face. I'm so sorry, I didn't know how to tell you, but that's why I came. Because if I don't do anything, Ethan will be next. And I won't let that happen. I can't let that happen. Marcus started the car again. You won't need to, because we're going to get him out of there. Today. Now. And Dale will pay. Lily closed her eyes, relieved. But something still weighed on her. Marcus, there's one more thing. He looked at her. Dale doesn't work alone. There are other people, men who go there, who use the basement. I saw, and one of them. She stopped, choking. One of them is a police officer. The world stopped again. The club's warehouse was on the outskirts of Cedar Falls, hidden among trees and scrap metal. 3 motorcycles were parked out front when Marcus arrived. Dutch, Crow, and Big Mike were all ready. There, sitting on crates, smoking, waiting. They didn't speak when Marcus got out of the truck. They just watched Lily emerge from the other side, small, frightened, out of place. Dutch was the first to speak. 50 years old, grey beard, scar on his forehead. Is this about Jamie? Marcus nodded. Yes, and it's worse than we thought. He motioned for Lily to come closer. She obeyed slowly, her arms crossed over her chest. Tell them what you told me. And she told everything. Dale Cormack, the basement, Ethan, the photos, Jamie, The cop. When she finished, the silence in the warehouse was like a funeral. Big Mike broke it first. Son of a bitch. Crow stood up, punching the wall. We knew. We always knew there was something wrong with Jamie's death. But we could never prove anything. Dutch looked at Marcus. And you believe her? Marcus didn't hesitate. Yes. Dutch nodded. Then we'll go. Today. But we need to be smart. If there are cops involved, we can't trust anyone. This leaks. We become targets. Big Mike crossed his arms. And the girl, what do we do with her? Marcus looked at Lily. She stays here, locked up, safe, until this is over. Lily stepped forward. No, I'm going with you. You're not. I know where Ethan is. I know where Dale keeps the keys, where he keeps the gun, where he sleeps. You need me. Marcus was about to answer when Dutch's cell phone rang. He answered. He listened. His face went white. He hung up. It was Ringo. He's watching the street, where Dale lives. He said he just saw him leave in a car, with a boy in the back seat, a child, blonde hair, wide eyes. Lily let out a choked cry. It's Ethan. He's taking him. Marcus was already running to the truck. Where did he go? Dutch followed. Towards the forest, Route 18, but Ringo lost him after the bend. Shit! Marcus banged on the hood. We need to find that car, now. Big Mike started the motorcycle. I know that road. There are 3 entrances to the forest. If he's taking the boy there, it can only mean one thing. Crow finished the sentence. He's going to kill the boy and bury him. Lily was trembling, sobbing. No, no, no. I should have stayed there. I should have. Marcus grabbed her shoulders. Listen, listen. It's not your fault. We're going to find him, I promise. She looked him in the eyes. Did you promise that to your brother too? The question cut like a knife. Marcus didn't answer. He just let go of her and got into the truck. Lily, you're coming. With me. The 3 of you split up. Route 18, each of you take an exit. Any sign of a car, call. And if you find Dale... He stopped. Don't kill him, not yet. He'll tell me what he did to Jamie first. The engines roared, and the hunt began. But deep inside Marcus, something screamed. It screamed that they were too late, that it was already too late, that Ethan was already dead, just like Jamie, just like everyone else, and that this time he wouldn't fail, even if it cost him everything. The pickup truck sped down Route 18 at nearly 140 miles per hour. Its headlights pierced the darkness of the pine-fringed road. Lily clung to her seat, her eyes fixed on the window, searching for any sign. Marcus had his cell phone on speakerphone, listening to the others' reports. North entrance, nothing. Dutch's voice. East entrance, empty. Big Mike. Crow's silence. Then, found it. South entrance. Grey car, old model, parked near the trail. License plate matches Dale Cormac's registration. Marcus turned the steering wheel sharply, making the tires screech. Where exactly? Down the old hunter's trail. But Marcus, there's a problem. What? The car's empty. Marcus felt his stomach clench. They've already gone into the woods. Yeah, and there's blood in the back seat. Lily let out a strangled groan. Marcus sped up. You guys get in now. I'm 5 minutes away. Don't let him get away. Crow hesitated. What if we find him first? Hold on, until I get there. But Marcus knew. It was an impossible request. If Dale Cormac had done something to that child, none of the brothers in the club would wait. And maybe he didn't want them to wait. Marcus looked at Lily. You stay in the car when we get there. Locked in, understand? She didn't answer. She just looked ahead, her face pale. Lily, I told you. He's going to kill Ethan. Her voice was hoarse, just like he killed others. And if you don't get there in time, if you don't find him... She swallowed hard. It's my... Fault. I should have stayed. I should have... Stop, Marcus almost yelled. He pulled the car over to the side of the road so abruptly that Lily was thrown forward. He turned to her, gripping her shoulders tightly. Listen carefully. None of this is your fault. Nothing. You're a child who survived a monster. And you did more than any adult ever did. You came looking for me. You gave me the information. You risked your life to save another boy. So don't tell me it's your fault. Because it's not. Lily was crying, her whole body trembling, but I knew. I always knew what he was, and I did nothing. For years, I just tried to survive, and now Ethan is going to die because of it. Marcus let go of her, running a hand over his face. He knew that pain. He knew that guilt. It was the same guilt he had carried since Jamie's death. You did what you could, and now we're going to do the rest. He started the car again, but before he could accelerate, Lily grabbed his arm. Marcus, what if you can't save him? What if it's too late? Marcus looked into her eyes, and for the first time he let his mask slip. Then I'll make sure Dale never does this again. To anyone. Ever again. Lily nodded slowly. Promise me one thing. What? If Ethan already has, don't let Dale leave that forest. Marcus didn't answer, but the answer was in his eyes, and Lily saw it. She saw the same look Dale had, only reversed. It wasn't the look of a hunter. It was the look of a protector, of someone who avenges, of someone who delivers justice when justice fails. Marcus sped up again. 3 minutes later they arrived at the trailhead. The others' motorcycles were already there, lying haphazardly. Dutch emerged from the trees, panting. We found footprints, 2 people, one tall, one small, heading north. Is the boy alive? I don't know, but there's a trail of blood. Marcus grabbed the flashlight. Let's go. Lily opened the door. I told you to stay. And I said no. She stood firm, her eyes red but determined. He's my responsibility. I'm going. Marcus was about to argue, but he didn't have time. Stay behind me. And if I tell you to run, you run. Understand? She nodded, and together they entered the forest, where the darkness was total, and where something far worse than the night awaited them. The forest was a labyrinth of shadows. The beams of the flashlights cut through the trunks, revealing twisted roots, dead leaves, broken branches. The trail of blood continued. Scattered drops, then larger stains. Marcus felt his heart pounding. Beside him, Dutch and Crow advanced silently, hands near their waists where they carried weapons. Big Mike came behind with Lily clinging to him, her eyes wide. How much head start does he have? Marcus asked quietly. Dutch glanced at his watch. 15 minutes, maybe 20. It wasn't much, but in a forest like that it was enough to disappear, or to do something irreversible. Crow stopped, raising his hand. Everyone froze. He pointed ahead. There, through the trees, a flickering light. Fire. Campfire. Marcus signaled for them to split up. Dutch went to the left, Crow to the right. Big Mike stayed with Lily, hidden behind a fallen log. Marcus advanced alone through the center, every step calculated, every breath controlled, until he saw it. A small glimmer. The campfire. And beside it, a figure. Dale Cormac. He was bigger than Marcus had imagined. Broad shoulders. A drinker's belly. A sparse beard. A dirty cap. He was sitting on a log, fiddling with something in his lap. A shovel leaned against a tree, and beside him, on the ground, a small body, motionless. Marcus felt the world collapse. Ethan. The boy was lying on his side, his hands tied behind his back, a cloth wrapped around his mouth. Blood trickled from his forehead, but he blinked. He was still alive. Marcus released the breath he was holding. Alive. There was still time. Dale still hadn't seen. Marcus. He was focused on something, rummaging through a backpack. Marcus took another step. The branch snapped. Dale froze. He turned his head slowly and saw. Their eyes met. Dale didn't seem surprised, just bored. "Who are you?" His voice was deep, drawling. Marcus emerged from the shadows, the flashlight illuminating his face. "Someone who should have come here 3 years ago." Dale tilted his head. Then he smiled. "Ah, you're Jamie's brother." It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Marcus clenched his fists. "Where did you meet my brother?" Dale rummaged in his backpack again, as if they were discussing the weather. "Bar. He owed money to the wrong guy. I offered to help. He accepted." "What kind of help?" Dale pulled something from his backpack. A knife. "The kind that charges interest." Marcus stepped forward. "You killed him." Dale wiped the blade on his pants. "I taught him a lesson. He couldn't handle it." "You killed him!" Marcus yelled, his voice echoing through the forest. Dale finally stood up, holding the knife. "Careful, biker. You don't know who you're talking to." "I know exactly who you are. You're the guy who tortures children, who kills innocent people, who hides behind corrupt cops." Dale stopped. "So the brat told, huh?" He spat on the ground. "I should have killed her when I had the chance." Marcus lunged forward. "You're never going to touch her again." Dale laughed. "Oh yeah? And who's going to stop me? You? Your little friends hiding in the trees?" He waved the knife at nothing. Dutch and Crow emerged from the shadows, circling. Dale looked at the three of them. "Look at that. A bunch of bikers wanting to play heroes." He pointed the knife at Ethan. "But let me tell you something. This kid here, he's finished. He's seen too much. He knows too much. Just like Jamie. Just like all the others." Marcus trembled with rage. "How many?" "What? How many? How many children have you killed?" Dale thought. "I've lost count." And at that moment, Marcus broke. He lunged forward, quickly. Dale, too. The knife gleamed in the air. Marcus dodged. He grabbed Dale's wrist. He twisted. The knife fell. Dale punched. He hit Marcus in the chin. He staggered back. Dale grabbed the shovel. He swung. He struck Marcus in the ribs with brutal force. He fell to his knees, breathless. Dale raised the shovel again. They should have stayed away. But before he could get down, a shot rang out. Dale screamed, dropping the shovel, clutching his shoulder. Blood trickled between his fingers. Lily stood in the middle of the clearing, holding Big Mike's gun, her hands trembling, tears streaming down her face. "You won't hurt him again." Dale looked at her. "You bitch." Another shot. In the leg. Dale fell to his knees, and then Dutch and Crow lunged forward, taking him down completely. Marcus stood up, panting, and ran to Ethan. He untied him. He took the cloth out of his mouth. The boy coughed, crying. "It's okay. You're safe now." But it wasn't. Because suddenly, sirens cut through the silence. Red and blue lights appeared between the trees. Police. And the first person to get out of the patrol car was a policeman Marcus recognized. The same one who had investigated Jamie's death, and the same one who was in the files Lily had mentioned. He looked at the scene, at Dale lying there, at Lily holding the gun, and he smiled. "It seems we have a problem here." The police officer's name was Ray Maddox, early 40 years old, short, gray hair, badge gleaming on his chest. He walked slowly through the clearing, his hand resting lightly on his gun in its holster. 2 other officers came behind him, but stayed near their patrol cars watching. Ray looked at Dale lying on the ground, groaning, bleeding. Then he looked at Marcus, at Dutch, at Crow, and finally at Lily. "Lily Brennan." He said the name as if it were a sentence. "I thought you had more sense than that." Lily was frozen, still holding the gun. Big Mike stepped forward. She was defending herself. Ray smiled coldly. Defending herself? She shot an unarmed man, twice in front of witnesses. He signaled to the other officers. Pick up the gun and arrest her. No. Marcus stepped in front of Lily. She's not going anywhere. Ray raised an eyebrow. Are you interfering in an arrest, biker? I'm protecting a minor who was abused by that pile of shit on the ground. And you know very well what I'm talking about, Maddox. Ray's smile vanished. His eyes hardened. Watch what you say. Why? Afraid someone will find out you're on his payroll? Marcus pointed at Dale. That you covered up Lily's accusations, that you closed my brother's case without investigating anything. Ray stepped forward. You have no proof of anything. Not yet, Dutch said, raising his cell phone, but I've had this recording for 10 minutes, and I've already sent copies to 3 different people. If something happens to us, or to the girl, it'll leak, and you'll be in trouble too. Ray stopped. He looked at his phone, back at Dutch. You don't know who you're messing with. Crow crossed his arms. We know exactly, and we're not scared. The silence weighed heavily. Ray calculated his options. He looked at the other officers who were clearly uncomfortable, unsure where to look. He looked at Dale, who was still groaning on the floor, and finally, back at Marcus. What do you want? Marcus didn't hesitate. Justice. Real justice. Not the farce you sold when my brother died. Ray let out a dry laugh. Justice? You think that exists? Here? In this city? I think it can exist if the right people are arrested and the wrong people are exposed. Ray shook his head. You're naive, biker. Even if you manage to get me out of the way, there are others. There are always others. Then we'll take them out too, Dutch said firmly. One by one, until we clean up this mess. Ray looked at them all, and then, to Marcus's surprise, he took a step back. Take the, kid, and get out of here before I change my mind. Marcus frowned. What? You heard me. Take the boy and the girl and get out of here, now. And Dale? Ray looked at the ground, at the bloodied man. He'll have to answer for attempted murder. Him against you. Self-defense. That's what it'll say in the report. You're letting us go? Like this? Ray approached Marcus quietly, just loud enough for him to hear. I'm no saint, but I'm not a monster either. I messed up. I messed up a lot. I turned a blind eye when I shouldn't have. But that kid over there. He pointed to Ethan, still cowering, trembling. He doesn't deserve to die because of my mistakes. So take him and the girl and get out of here before I regret it. Marcus studied his face. It wasn't redemption. It wasn't kindness. It was weariness, guilt, shame. And you? Ray gave a half smile. I'm going to do what I should have done a long time ago. I'm going to open a real investigation. I'm going to turn over every stone. And if I go down with it, so be it. He looked at Lily. I'm sorry, girl, for everything. Lily didn't answer. She just turned her face away. Ray signaled to the other officers. Pick up Dale. Hospital first, then jail, and call the forensics team. I want this place turned upside down. They obeyed. Confused, but they obeyed. Marcus picked Ethan up. Let's go. They started to walk away. But before disappearing among the trees, Marcus looked back one last time. Ray was standing there, alone, looking at the still burning campfire. And Marcus knew. I knew that wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. And that the war was far from over. 2 weeks later, Cedar Falls looked like a different town. Local newspaper headlines screamed, "Child abuse ring dismantled." Former police officer Ray Maddox cooperates with investigation. Dale Cormack charged with murder and kidnapping. But Marcus knew the headlines didn't tell the whole story. They never did. He was sitting in the club's shed alone, a half-empty bottle of whiskey on the table. It was 3 in the afternoon. He should have been in the hospice. But he couldn't go back, not after everything, not after seeing what he had seen. His cell phone rang. He ignored it. It rang again. He answered, irritated. What? Marcus, it's Hannah, the social worker's voice. I need to talk to you about Ethan. Marcus straightened up. Is he okay? Physically, yes, but he doesn't talk to anyone, and every time someone tries to approach him, he panics. The psychologist said it will take time, a lot of time, but he asked for something. What? You. He wants to see you. Marcus closed his eyes. Hannah, I'm not the right person for this. I don't know how to take care of a child. It's not about taking care of him, Marcus. It's about being present. You were the first person he saw when he came out of that forest. You're the person he trusts. Even without speaking, he drew you several times. Marcus felt a tightening in his chest. Did he draw it? Yes, with his motorcycle and with a symbol, an eagle, just like your brother's tattoo. The air left Marcus's lungs. He knew about Jamie? I don't know, but I think you should come here and talk to him, or just be here. Please, Marcus. He hung up. He stood there staring at the tattoo on his arm, the eagle, the same one Jamie had gotten, the same one Ethan had drawn. How? Why? Marcus stood up. He grabbed his motorcycle keys, and he left. The temporary shelter was in the center of Cedar Falls, an old renovated building with colorful walls trying to hide the pain inside. Hannah was waiting for him at the door. He's in the room, second floor, last door on the left. Marcus went upstairs slowly. He knocked on the door. No answer. He opened it. Ethan was sitting on the bed, his back to him, looking out the window, blonde hair falling over his eyes, clean clothes, but too big. He didn't turn around when Marcus came in. Hi, Ethan. Nothing. Marcus approached slowly. I came to see how you are. Ethan continued looking out the window. Marcus sat in the chair beside the bed. It's okay if you don't want to talk. I understand. Silence. Then, without looking, Ethan held out his hand, holding something, a folded piece of paper. Marcus took it, opened it. It was a drawing, done in pencil, detailed. A house, a basement, and inside the basement, 2 boys, one older, with an eagle tattoo on his arm, the other younger, blonde, Ethan. And in the corner, written in trembling handwriting, he talked about you. Marcus felt the world spin. Jamie? Jamie was talking about me? Ethan finally turned around. His blue eyes were wide, red from crying. He nodded, slowly. He was down there, with me, for 3 days. Before him. His voice broke. Ethan started to cry. He said you were coming, that you always came to get him, but you didn't come. And then Dale. Marcus couldn't hold back. He fell to his knees in front of Ethan, clutching the boy's small hands. I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was there. If I had known, I would have gone. Ethan sobbed. He told me to be strong, that someone would save me, the way you used to save him when you were kids. Marcus's tears fell, all at once. Years of guilt, of anger, of pain, all collapsing. I failed him. But you saved me, Ethan whispered. You came, like he said you would. Marcus looked at the boy, at his small, bruised, but still alive face, still fighting. I promise, Ethan, I promise I'll never fail you again, or anyone else. Ethan threw himself into Marcus's arms, and cried. And Marcus held him, and cried too, but outside something was happening, something that would change everything again. Because Dale Cormack, even in prison, had friends. And those friends wouldn't let Ray Maddox testify, nor would they let Marcus live. And that night, the club's warehouse caught fire, with Dutch inside. The smell of smoke permeated everything. Marcus ran through the still hot ashes of the shed, shouting Dutch's name. Firefighters tried to hold him back, but he pushed, desperate. He's still in there. But he wasn't. Not alive. They found the body 2 hours later. Burned. Unrecognizable. Identified only by the army name tag he never took off. Dutch. 50 years old. Veteran. Brother. Dead. Murdered. The police said it was an accident. A short circuit. But Marcus knew. Everyone knew. Crow and Big Mike stood beside him, silent, staring at what remained of the shed. It was them, Crow said, his voice hoarse. Dale's friends. They sent a message. Big Mike punched the brick wall that was still standing. And we're going to answer for it. Marcus didn't speak. He just stood there on his knees, staring at the ashes. Dutch had been the first to believe in him when he arrived at the club, lost, alone and aimless. It was Dutch who had taught him how to ride a motorcycle properly, fixing engines, living on the road. And now he was gone. Because of Marcus. Because of this war that Marcus had started. I should have stayed alone, Marcus murmured. I wasn't supposed to involve you guys. Crow grabbed him by the shoulder. No, Dutch chose to be here. Just like we choose, this isn't your fault. Yes, it is, Marcus shouted, standing up. I dragged you guys into this. I went after Dale. I exposed Maddox. And now Dutch is dead. Big. Mike stepped forward. And what were you going to do? Let Ethan die? Let Lily suffer? Let Dale keep killing children? I could have done things differently. I could have. You couldn't have done anything, Crow exploded. You did what had to be done, and Dutch would do the same. He died protecting something bigger, and we're going to honor that. Not by giving up, but by finishing what he started with us. Marcus wanted to believe, but he couldn't, because that morning he received another piece of news. Ray Maddox had disappeared. He didn't show up to testify. He didn't answer his cell phone. He vanished, and with him, all the evidence he had gathered, all the names, all the documents, everything. Without Ray, the case against Dale crumbled, and 3 days later Dale was released. On bail, paid by anonymous friends, and the first thing he did was give an interview on local TV saying he was innocent, that he had been attacked by violent bikers, that he was the victim, and the city believed it. Marcus watched from Big Mike's house, holding a beer he didn't drink. He saw Dale, clean, well-groomed, with his lawyer by his side, speaking softly and calmly. He saw the reporter treat him with respect. He saw the comments on social media supporting him. Poor Dale. Those bikers are the problem. Stop chasing innocent men. Marcus turned off the TV. He closed his eyes. And he felt it. He felt the defeat, the pain, the certainty that he had failed. Again. Dutch dead. Ray missing. Dale free. Ethan still traumatized. Lily still in danger. And for what? For nothing. Marcus, Big Mike called. We need to get out of town for a while until the dust settles. Marcus shook his head. I'm not going to run. It's not running, it's protecting ourselves. They're coming after us now, and if we stay, we die. Then let them come. Marcus stood up. I'm not going to let him win. Not again. And what are you going to do? Break into his house, kill him? You'll go to jail. And Dale will be laughing in his grave. Marcus didn't answer, because he had no answer. He left. He got on his motorcycle, and he drove away. He drove for hours, aimlessly, just the road, trying to escape. But not from the police, from himself, from the guilt, from the pain, from the failure. He stopped at a deserted gas station. It was 4 in the morning, raining. He sat under the awning, wet, exhausted, and he cried. He cried for Dutch, for Jamie, for Ethan, for everyone he couldn't save. And then the cell phone rang. Unknown number. He answered without thinking. Hello. Silence. Then a voice, weak, trembling. Marcus, it's me, Ray. Marcus froze. Where are you? Hiding. They found me. They tried to kill me. I have the proof. Everything, recordings, documents, names, but I can't leave, they're hunting me. And if I die, everything dies with me. Marcus stood up. Where? Old barn. Route 9, 10 kilometers outside the city. But Marcus, come alone. If they see you with someone, they'll kill us. Both of us. Marcus looked at the sky, at the rain, at the darkness, and he made the decision. I'll go. Hang in there. He hung up, started the motorcycle, and left. Without telling anyone. No backup, no plan, just the certainty that this was his last chance. But what Marcus didn't know was that Ray wasn't alone, and that the old barn was a trap, and that when he got there, it wouldn't be Ray waiting. It would be Dale and all his friends, ready to end this, once and for all. Marcus was driving along Route 9 in the heavy rain. His headlights barely pierced the curtain of water. The road was empty. Just him, his motorcycle, and the sound of thunder tearing through the sky. 10 kilometers. That's what Ray said. But Marcus had been driving for 15, and nothing. No barns, no buildings, just dense forest on both sides. He stopped, looked at the GPS, no signal. He took out his cell phone, called Ray's number, out of service area. Shit. He was about to turn. The motorcycle around when he saw it. A light, faint, flickering between the trees, about 200 meters ahead. He accelerated. The light grew brighter. It was a flashlight, hanging from a rotten wooden post, and right behind it, the barn. Old. Falling apart. Doors open, swaying in the wind. Marcus got off his motorcycle. He pulled his gun from his belt. He walked slowly, the rain hammering against his back. Ray? No answer. Only the wind. He entered the barn. Dark. Smell of mold and rotten. Wood. The lampost's lantern vaguely illuminated the interior. Piled hay. Old tools. And in the background, a figure. Back turned. Standing. Motionless. Ray? Marcus stepped forward. The figure didn't move. He moved closer. He touched its shoulder. The figure fell forward. And Marcus saw. It wasn't Ray. It was a scarecrow, dressed in Ray's clothes. And hanging around its neck, a note. You fell. Again. Marcus turned quickly, but too late. The barn doors slammed shut. Lights flashed. Spotlights, blinding, and Marcus saw 5 men, all armed. And in the center, Dale Cormack, smiling. Welcome, biker. Marcus pointed his gun. Where's Ray? Dale laughed. Ray? Oh, he's fine. Very dead. We found him yesterday trying to escape, poor guy. He slipped and fell into a river. Hit his head. Tragic. Marcus clenched his teeth. You killed him. Of course we killed him. He was a risk, just like you. Dale gestured to the others. And now, you're going to pay for everything. For the humiliation. For the prison sentence. For the shot that brat fired at me. She should have aimed for your head. Dale stepped forward. You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill you. Slowly. And then I'll go after her. Lily. And Ethan. And I'll finish what I started, and there won't be anyone to stop me, because all your little friends are already dead. Or they will be. Soon. Marcus felt his blood run cold. What? Dale smiled wider. You think it was just Dutch? We know where everyone sleeps, where everyone hides, and tonight everyone will die, including you. The men advanced. Marcus fired. He hit one in the shoulder. He fell. The others fired back. Marcus threw himself behind a pile of hay. Bullets pierced the wood. He rolled. He fired again. He hit another in the leg. But there were too many, and he was alone. One of them flanked him. Marcus didn't see him. He took a blow to the back with a gun butt. He fell. The gun slipped from his hand. A kick to the stomach. Another. To the ribs. He coughed up blood. Dale approached. He crouched down. He grabbed Marcus's face. You're pathetic, thinking you could defeat me. Expose me. You're just another one, like your brother, like all the others. Marcus spat blood in his face. Go to hell. Dale wiped his face. Slowly, then he punched. Hard. Marcus felt his nose break, blood gushed out. Dale stood up. Kill him, and burn the body. I don't want anyone to find it. The men raised their weapons. Marcus closed his eyes. He thought of Jamie, of Dutch, of Ethan, of Lily. Sorry, he murmured. I tried. And then, crash. The barn wall exploded, wood flying, and in came Crow, Big Mike, and 10 more bikers. From the club, from neighboring clubs, all armed, all furious. Put down the gun, Crow yelled. Dale's men froze. Dale looked around, surrounded. How? Big Mike stepped forward. You really thought we were going to let him come alone? We followed you, Marcus, from the gas station. Marcus looked at them. Relieved, grateful, alive. Crow turned to Dale. Now, you're going to drop all the evidence, all the names, everything, or we hand you over to the feds. And believe me, they're waiting. Dale hesitated, but he saw that there was no way out, that he had lost. Finally. It's in the car, suitcase, blue briefcase, everything's there. Big Mike went. He came back with the briefcase. He opened it. Documents, photos, recordings, everything. It's real. Marcus stood up. He staggered over to Dale. He looked him in the eyes. It's over. Dale spat. It never ends. There are always others. Marcus shook his head. Maybe. But you? You're finished. And he turned his back, leaving Dale to the police, who were already arriving. Sirens in the distance, but this time it was the feds, the ones Ray had contacted before he died, the ones who weren't bought. And Dale knew it. It was the end. 3 months later, Cedar Falls was trying to heal. Dale Cormack was in jail, without bail, accused of 17 crimes, including the murder of Jamie Hale. The documents Ray had gathered, combined with Lily's testimony and the evidence found in Dale's barn and house, were enough. The federal investigation turned the town upside down. 7 people were arrested, including 2 police officers, a judge, and a local businessman. But the city was divided. Half celebrated. The other half denied it. It's a lie. It's persecution. Dale was a good man. Marcus listened to everything in silence. He knew that the truth would never be accepted by everyone. Some people preferred the lie because the truth hurt too much, and it revealed things they didn't want to see. Dale's trial lasted 2 weeks. Marcus, Lily, and Ethan testified. It was the hardest thing Marcus had ever done. Seeing Dale there, in a suit, clean-cut, calm, listening to the accusations expressionlessly, as if none of it affected him. Lily trembled the whole time, but she spoke. She told everything, every detail, every horror. Ethan couldn't speak, but the psychologist testified for him. He read the accounts, he showed the drawings, the jury wept. And when it was Marcus's turn, he looked at Dale, straight in the eyes, and he said, "My brother Jamie was 22 when he died. He wasn't perfect, he had problems, but he was my brother, and he was tortured and killed by that man over there. And for years I lived with the guilt of not saving him, of not being there. But today, I know it wasn't my fault. It was his. And everyone who protected him, and I hope he pays, for Jamie, for Ethan, for Lily, and for all the other victims will never know." The verdict came in 4 hours. Guilty of everything. Sentence, life imprisonment. No possibility of parole. Dale didn't react. He just looked at Marcus one last time and whispered something. Marcus read his lips. This won't bring him back. And Marcus nodded, because he knew nothing would bring Jamie back. But at least Dale would never hurt anyone again. After the trial, Marcus went to the cemetery, Jamie's grave. He knelt down. I found who did this to you, and he will pay. Forever. I'm sorry it took me so long. I'm sorry for everything. He left a rose and a photo of him and Jamie when they were children, smiling. I love you, bro. Always. He stood up and saw Lily and Ethan standing a few feet away, waiting. Lily had been placed with a foster family, a good one, a loving one. Ethan was still in therapy, but improving, talking more, smiling sometimes. They approached. Lily held Marcus's hand. Thank you for everything. Marcus shook his head. You saved me that night. You were brave. Ethan tugged at the hem of Marcus's jacket. You're going to disappear. Marcus crouched down. He looked into the boy's eyes. No, I'll be around, always. If you need me, just call. Ethan hugged him, tightly, and Marcus held on, and felt it. Felt that maybe, finally, he had done something right. Something that mattered. They left the cemetery together, and Marcus looked back one last time at Jamie's grave and whispered, I promise, never again. Marcus returned to the hospice, same shift, same routine. But something had changed. Him. The nurses noticed. He smiled more. He talked more. He helped more. He still carried the pain. He still missed Dutch and Jamie. But now he also carried something new. Purpose. Hope. The certainty that what he did mattered. One night, 6 months after the trial, he was sitting outside in the same spot where Lily had appeared, smoking, looking at the stars. His cell phone rang. It was Lily. Hi, Marcus. Hi, girl. How are you? I'm fine. I just wanted to tell you something. Go ahead. I started writing my story, everything that happened. The psychologist said it might help, and I wanted you to know. Because you're part of it. You're the reason I'm here today. Marcus felt his eyes burn. You're strong, Lily. Stronger than anyone I know. And I'm proud of you. She sobbed on the other end. I've never had anyone say that to me. Now you have, and you always will. Silence. Then, Marcus, do you think Jamie would be proud of you, of what you did? Marcus looked at the sky, at the distant glow of the stars. I think so, or at least I hope so. He would. I know he would. They hung up, and Marcus stayed there, alone, but not lonely, because he knew that somewhere Lily was writing, Ethan was laughing, Dutch and Jamie were resting, and he, Marcus, Hale, was alive, and fighting, and protecting, as he always should have done. He threw away the cigarette, crushed it, and went inside, back to work, back to life, because that was his path now, not the one he chose, but the one he traveled, and in the end, perhaps that was redemption. Not forgetting the pain, but transforming it into something that could save others, even if it was just one. Even if it was too late for some, it was never too late to try. And that night, while Marcus was cleaning the hospice hallways, he heard a cry, soft, a child's cry, coming from the parking lot. He stopped, looked out the window, and saw a little girl, alone, sitting on the sidewalk, crying. He didn't hesitate. He went out. Hey, are you okay? Where are your parents? She looked at him. Red eyes, bruised arm. I ran away. Marcus knelt down. From whom? From my uncle. He hurts my sister, and I didn't know what to do, so I ran. But I don't know where to go. Marcus held out his hand. Come. Let's find someone who can help. And I promise, your sister will be okay. I'll make sure of it. She hesitated. Then she took his hand. And Marcus knew. He knew the fight would never end. That there would always be another child, another monster, another night. But he also knew he would be there. Always. Because that was his mission now, his path, his purpose. To protect, to save, to fight, even when it hurt, even when it seemed impossible. Because in the end, it wasn't about winning. It was about never giving up, never stopping, never letting the darkness win without a fight. And as he walked the little girl back to the hospice, he looked up at the sky and whispered, "This is for you, Jamie, for you, Dutch, and for everyone we couldn't save. But from now on, we're going to save as many as we can, I promise." And the wind blew, as if someone, somewhere had heard and answered. And Marcus smiled, for the first time in years, a sad smile, but real, because finally, he had found peace, not at the end of the pain, but in the midst of it, in the choice to continue, despite everything. If this story touched you, leave a like now. Subscribe to the channel now, because more stories like this are coming. And comment below, do you believe that justice still exists? Or that sometimes we need to seek it with our own hands? Next video, the biker who lost everything. Don't miss it. Hit the bell, because this story will destroy you.